This is just going to be a quick kind of get ready with me. I start every makeup look, routine, whatever, by washing my face. I'm all about the clean skin. If it's during the day, then I'll just use the Milky Jelly Cleanser from Glossier. And that's if I haven't had any other makeup on during the day. Typically, I don't wear makeup during the day unless I'm working. And I just massage that onto a dry face. And then use a little bit of warm water to kind of work it in. And rinse it off. Also, don't have a mirror, so I'm looking up at the viewfinder, which I'm sure is super annoying. And then just patting dry. Never rub. The next product I use, if it is pre-makeup, I use the Ole Henriksen balancing toner. It's not gonna focus, but it's fine. It's the oil control one. I use this one during the day, and I use the Glow 2.0 toner at night. And I don't apply this with a cotton pad. I kind of just push it into the skin, just using a couple drops. And I find when I use cotton, first of all, I don't like to use cotton because it's a lot of waste. And second, I find that it can drag the skin a little bit, and I prefer to just kind of tap her in. Next product is the Highly Nourishing Cream from deew. It is a cannabis wellness cream. I order it from an outlet called Birch and Fog, which is a great website. You should check it out if you live in Canada. And basically it is just a natural moisturizer. You can use it on face and body. I actually started using it because I ran out of my other face moisturizer, and I figured, you know, this one's all natural, it's vegan, has a very light scent, so it's probably face safe. And I noticed a huge difference in my skin within like 2 days of using it, so big fan of that one. Now I wait about 5 minutes, let that soak into the skin, and then continue on. If I'm not doing a heavy eye look, then I do skin first. If I am doing a heavy eye look, then I do eyes first. But tonight, I'm just going for like sushi with girlfriends, so I'm just gonna do kind of like a glowy skin and probably nothing on the eyes, maybe just a little mascara. So for foundation or base, I use the this is the Joe Fresh Daily Boost Fluid Foundation, and it's in the shade Bisque. I mix that with the Benefit Hello Flawless Oxygen Wow Brightening Makeup, and this one is in the shade Petal. Now this Joe Fresh one she's at the end, so we're gonna be gross and scoop it off the pump. And this is a really nice foundation. I never hear or see anything about it in the media, or on YouTube, but it's great. So I take about that much of each. So that's the Joe Fresh one, and that's the Benefit one. Just warm those up together on the back of my hand. This is gonna give me a sheer coverage. If I wanted an even sheerer coverage, then I would mix in a little bit of moisturizer or like a hydrating spray. But today I'm just gonna use it as is. Now I like to use kind of a lighter, less dense brush when I apply foundation, because I do like a very sheer coverage, a very light coverage. So I just start in the center and kind of push it on like so. And I'm focusing it in the areas that I kind of need it more. Not that anyone needs foundation, but I do like a little bit more coverage in the center of my cheeks where I get a little bit red. And then I'll just bring that down. I also kind of use the foundation to color match my face to my body. Obviously my arms are a little bit darker than my face, which I think is pretty standard across the board. And then again, I'm not using a ton. The brush is almost dry. And that's how I like it. That's also how you avoid streaks when you're using a less dense brush. And I make sure to get it kind of right up to the hairline. And if I was using a shade that was quite a bit darker, I would also bring it down my neck. I'm just going to use whatever's left on the brush kind of on my ears and pull it down the jaw just a little bit. Like so. For concealer, again, I mixed two. So this is the Sephora Bright Future Concealer. Looks like this. It's a gel serum concealer and it's in the shade 3 Fondant. And then I also use the Rimmel Wake Me Up Anti-Fatigue Concealer. Nothing wants to focus, but that's cool. So I go in with the Rimmel one first. Oh, sorry, and that's in the shade Classic Beige. And just pull that under the eye. Not a ton. This is a super thin formula. And I'm really disappointed. I've been having a really hard time finding it to replace it. I've been using this concealer probably since I was like 12 or 13. It might have been the first one I ever bought. And I'm still a big fan, but I don't know. Maybe it's been discontinued, which would be sad. So I just apply that kind of in the center between my eyebrows, under the eyes, and a little bit on the chin. And then I use this one, which is a little bit brighter. And I just dot that under the eyes and in the corners of the eyes where I get a little bit red. You can kind of see it's really not a lot. But I don't like a full coverage. So it's all to your preference. To blend that out, I use this little Sephora Mini Airbrush Flawless Pro Mini Flawless Airbrush brush. And this is a very dense brush. If you wanted to, you could use this for the foundation as well as the concealer. But again, I like something a little bit lighter to do the whole face. And then I'm kind of just patting and then buffing a little bit to blend it down into the foundation. Dog hair, of course. And I'm making sure I get into the hollows of the eye here. That's where I have probably the most darkness. And then up. Always pushing up, never dragging down if you can avoid it. And then on the chin as well. I'm kind of pulling that back. Before I set anything, I'm going to go in with this Physicians Formula Butter Highlight. And this one is in the shade Champagne, which is very gold for me. At the moment, it is winter. I do live in Canada. I am pale. This is kind of a nicer shade in the summer. But this highlighter has a very interesting consistency. It's kind of, it feels wet to the touch. You can see it's not really a powder, and it's not a cream. It's kind of an in-between. So I actually apply this with a beauty sponge. I just kind of tap into it like that, just to the high point. And again, this works best on a face that isn't set yet. Just because of the kind of interesting nature of the formula. You could put it over a set face, but again, I wouldn't recommend setting even just this area here. You're just gonna get a better highlight. It's gonna blend a little bit more seamlessly if you don't set that area first. Or any area that you wanna highlight, really. And I pull it right back to the hairline, almost to the temple. And then I'll just use the clean part of the sponge to kind of pat that in. To set the face, I use the Burts Bees mattifying foundation, powder foundation with bamboo. This one, the shade range, terrible, but it doesn't really matter because you're super sheer. This shade is about the middle of the range. I think they have 5 or 6 shades. This one is in the middle, which I wouldn't even really consider a medium because I'm quite fair and it actually works for me pretty well. So I take this just on a big loose brush like this and kind of tap it into the cheek area. This gives me a little bit more coverage, not a ton, but it's just gonna make matte the areas that I want to keep matte, and kind of let the other areas still look nice and fresh. You can see I'll set one side so you can see you're still getting like a natural kind of skin look, but it's not that super high shine that the unset skin would have. And I'll also take this under the eye. I'm not super worried about creasing under the eye. My skin type is, I would say, normal to dry in the winter. So I don't really worry about creasing or anything like that. More so just setting it to keep it in place and give it a little bit more coverage. Taking the Butter Bronzer from Physicians Formula, and this is the original shade, which is just bronzer. Now they do have, I think, 1 lighter shade and 1 darker shade. And I'm not super strategic with this. I kind of just take it gently all over, gently, as I scrub it into the skin. Kind of just dusting it, I guess. And the brush I'm using is the e.l.f. stipple brush. I think I've had this brush for like 4 or 5 years. And they're like $2, which is awesome. Kind of run that under the jaw. To use a spray just to kind of wake the skin back up. And I'm using this one is the Origins Ginzing Energy Boost Treatment Lotion Mist. Really long name for something that's like, and I always like to give like 1 spray first to make sure that it's not gonna spit all over me. If you're like me and you're on the dry side, or if you are oily and you like to keep it super dewy, then that's a super important step for me. Alright, you guys, so I just slapped on a little bit of mascara. I use the Essence Lash Princess, the one with the green top, and I only apply that to my top lashes. I have very long bottom lashes, so if I apply a lot of mascara on the bottom, then it really opens my eye too much, makes it very round, and I like my eyes to look a little bit more elongated, so I prefer it that way. For lip, I just put on a little bit of the Nars, I think this is just their classic lipstick in Cruising. It's like a pink nude, which is totally to the bottom. I have loved and abused this product. And just threw some balm on top. Thank you so much for getting ready with me. Please like and subscribe, and let me know if there's anything you want to see below. All the products I use will be listed, and thank you so much.